Hey DevOps friends, excuse me. Welcome, I'm Jochen, the Monospace Mentor, and this is my Friday office hour. In this office hour, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do coding, I don't have to think of stuff to do, because it's all up to you. Oh, hey Julian, hello, good to see you again. How's life? Hope you're having a great Friday. And so the reason that I don't have to do anything is because programming is completely up to you. You ask the questions and I try to come up with answers. So in the end, I still have to do something, but I don't know what yet. It all depends on you. So if you have any questions about IT topics in general, but ideally topics I have a little bit of experience in, for example, Linux system administration, software engineering, IT career, these things, then post them to qa.monospacementor.com, which is a site that I've set up for you to post your questions there. You can also upvote other people's questions, and I can easily get them displayed on the stream and answered, so everyone who joins the channel knows what the heck I'm talking about. Hopefully, I also know what I'm talking about, and we'll see about that. Maybe I'll have to have some coffee first. I had planned to start this stream by introducing a few events that are going to happen in the near future on the server room, my membership community. You can find the server room at theserverroom.sh, where you can join a friendly and inclusive community of DevOps practitioners for asking questions, sharing your experience, and partaking in our events. Unfortunately, I just checked and realized that there are no events on the website anymore, which is probably because of a plugin update that must have mixed up something, and I'll have to check about that after the stream, unfortunately, but I can tell you that next week we are going to have our members hangout, which is a casual Zoom call on which we simply get together and talk about everything that we want to, and that's always great fun. It's going to be on Tuesday evening my time. It's going to be at 7 p.m. UTC. So if you'd like to join a friendly bunch of people and simply have a casual chat about anything that comes to mind, then join us on the server room, and you can take part in the Hangouts, because Hangouts are part of any of the membership tiers, and the lowest membership tier already starts at a moderate €5, which is about the same as a Twitch subscription. So that's definitely a lot of value for your money. All right, so as I already said, post your questions to qa.monospacementor.com. I'll pick them up there and try to answer them. I'm actually quite happy that I'm even able to stream today. I wasn't able to stream yesterday because of a mid-afternoon appointment at my new gym. I got myself a gym membership just in order to be able to use more machines and stuff for cardio and strength training, more than I can do at home, mostly because of space restrictions. And so I signed up yesterday morning and attended an introduction in the afternoon, and that's why I didn't do a stream. And later that day, I tried to update my OBS setup, which runs from a container-based DistroBox setup, and so I started the upgrade. The process deleted the old setup, then tried to pull the latest release of the DistroBox image, which it then couldn't because of a mishap at Universal Blue, where they accidentally made a mistake updating their signature key, and so I wasn't actually able to download the latest OBS image. So my old one had been already deleted and the new one wasn't able to download, and I thought, okay, that's it for tomorrow's stream. But fortunately, the people at Universal Blue are awesome, and George immediately jumped on the issue and updated the signature key for CI and stuff, and made a new container image, and I was able to download that, and here we are with a completely updated OBS setup. Very happy about that. It's always these things where it depend on other people to react that make me a little bit anxious, but all went well because, as I said, Universal Blue is great. And if you are looking for a Linux distribution that is fun and easy to maintain and up to date, then I can only recommend their Bluefin distribution, which is based on Fedora Silverblue, an atomic distribution that is easy to update, that won't cut you off by installing a failed update. You can easily revert to the previous setup that was working, and it's really amazing, especially the Bluefin DX flavor, which is especially set up for developers with a lot of tools already installed. Everything that you might need is already there, and everything that you need on top you can then install using Homebrew, which also is included in the Bluefin DX distribution. So yeah, I can highly recommend trying it out. I've been running my workstation and all my laptops, including my son's, on Bluefin for quite a while, and I'm very happy because it doesn't create almost any issues, and if there is an issue, I simply revert to the still installed previous installation, and then I'll wait a day or two until things are fixed, and then I can upgrade again. That's really amazing. I've never had as much fun and as little work maintaining my Linux setup than with Bluefin. So, again, if you have any questions that you'd like me to ask, post them to qa.monospacementor.com. It doesn't require an account, doesn't require you to log in or leave any information. It's just for convenience sake, so I can easily display your question on screen while I'm answering it, and we can already see questions being added to the list and all these things. So it's just a quality of life improvement. Lady Lyra, welcome to the stream. Good morning to you too. Handing you a virtual cup of coffee. Or whatever beverage you prefer. Unfortunately, my cup is leaking. The lid seems to be not okay. And it always creates a mess. I guess I need to find a new cup. Because I had already replaced the lid and still leaking, so there must be something systematic in there. Need to switch brands, I guess. And until then, I'll be a little bit more careful. So far, we don't have any questions on the list. Thank you. Can you guess my favorite color scheme? Unfortunately, we don't have any questions on the list yet, so you must have some questions about system administration, or Ruby coding, software engineering in general, maybe something career-related. Ask me anything, please. Stroyman, welcome to the channel. Good question. Just came browsing software development channels. Which kind of stuff do you normally develop? I'm mostly a system administrator by trade. I've been using Linux since 1993, and in 2010 I started my current and latest company, which is a managed hosting company specialized in high-performance websites based on Drupal and WordPress. So we are running hundreds of Linux servers, and making this maintainable, this infrastructure maintainable for only a team of 2, which is me and Mulol, who also just joined us. Hey, how you doing? Is my main occupation. And other than that, if it comes to software development, Ruby is and has been for more than a decade my language of love, and so we are doing a little bit of web development in Ruby, and also developing CLI tools and stuff. And I'm inclined to explore Crystal as well, which is basically Ruby but typed and compiled. Because I like how Ruby does its object-oriented stuff, and Crystal is pretty much identical, and it's just a compiled language and statically typed. That's the main difference between Crystal and Ruby. Otherwise, Crystal is very inspired by Ruby. The syntax is almost identical as far as I can tell at this point, and yes, Rails is my web development framework of choice, simply because I can't spend too much time on exploring other frameworks. I don't have any reason to either, and the Rails community is amazing, and the stuff that I can get out of the box is just enormous, and so that saves me a lot of time. It's mostly for pragmatic reasons that I haven't explored other alternative frameworks like Hanami yet, but that's simply because of time constraints. Yeah, so Linux and Ruby are the main topics on this channel, but since I've been in IT, basically since I got my first computer in 1984, there are many other topics that we can talk about, and since this is my office hour, it's up to you to do the programming, in the sense that you ask questions and I try to answer them. You can ask them directly on my Q&A page, which is qa.monospacementor.com, and there we collect all the questions, I get them on screen, and then I go and answer them. It's as simple as that, so if there's anything that you'd like to ask and never dared, put it on there. And what were you looking for, Stroyman? Anything in particular? I see. Passing the time. Well, I hope we'll be able to become a little bit more entertaining, but that will depend on any questions coming in. Seems to be a slow day today. At least I have something to share, and if it's only that we don't have any questions at the moment. We see your stream for the first time, thank you. Next to me is my system administrator, he sends his greetings, but we don't have any questions at the moment. That's not a problem. It's good to know that other people are out there as well. So welcome to Monospace Mentor. I'm Jochen, the eponymous Monospace Mentor, and usually I either do co-working streams where I do my work and other people join me doing their own work, do live coding streams where I mostly do my daily work, which is infrastructure automation and a little bit of web development. And of course then there are the office hours where you join me and usually ask questions, and I try to answer them. So thanks for sharing. Streumann says, had a bit of an off day, so not really ready to do any real work myself. Well, the weekend is near, fortunately, so there's always hope that things are going to wind down anyway, and yeah, that's definitely a relief. I still have a little bit of work to do, mostly because my gym appointment yesterday afternoon disrupted things a little bit. I had to go to an introductory session in the middle of the afternoon. After that, I was pretty much destroyed and didn't do much of the stuff that I had planned for Thursday afternoon. And most of these tasks are still waiting for me to pick them up again. So there is a little bit more work that I'll have to do after this stream, but the weekend is near, and I'm pretty much looking forward to that, because weather here in Ireland, at least on the east coast where I live, seems to be pretty decent. It's definitely warm. I have 25 degrees in my small little office here. It's not quite that outside, but it's definitely friendly, and I'm looking forward to doing another run later today. When I'm not at the gym, I do 5K runs usually, and looking forward to that. But yeah, this stream and a little bit of work are separating me from that joy still. And we're also back from an ad break here on Twitch, so again, qa.monospacementor.com. Post your questions, keep me occupied. Let's make this not a monologue. Strimer says, you asked what color scheme you use. I would guess doing system admin stuff, you use the default Vim scheme, as it's the default on all servers you log into. That's not far off, actually, because that would definitely be the case. I'd be using the Vim scheme, but by now I have changed my ways from what traditionally was called system administration to what's now called site reliability engineering, which is pretty much automating and developing software to operate infrastructure. So I'm not often logging into servers anymore, and especially don't make any local changes using Vim. That's all done by our configuration management system, which controls all our hundreds of servers centrally. So the only Vim instance I usually use is the one here on my workstation, and that instance uses a specific color scheme. And I mean, if you look at the t-shirt, it's pretty much a dead giveaway. You can see the colors, which are purplish and green and stuff. And I mean, who is that? That is, of course, Dracula, and so you were not too far off with Monokai, but Dracula has been my favorite color scheme for years now. I even have a keyboard here in the back that has the Dracula color scheme, and yeah, I try and install it for every application I can get it, which is not only my terminal and Vim, but also Obsidian and other applications. Using a dark scheme actually helps me on a medical level as well. I have quite a few eye floaters floating around in my eyes, and there's not much I can do about that. But they are pretty much the most visible on a bright background, and the dark theme, for example, Dracula, really helps with not noticing them as much. Otherwise, they'd be even more annoying than they already are. So the solution is Dracula. Now, we do have some questions, finally. And the question here is, what's your opinion about Proxmox and the discussions about the VMware pricing? It's not a new topic, but we probably will migrate this year. ESX hosts got old and Proxmox sounds so really good. I can only recommend Proxmox. I'm using it myself here on my home lab. It's a great way to easily spin up VMs and Docker containers. To make things even easier, I do actually run a Proxmox VM that in turn runs, now I'm blanking on the name, what is it called? Moo, help me. Portainer. Portainer as a Docker management UI. And with this combination, yeah, it was a 50-50 thing, wasn't it? Yeah, and between Proxmox and Portainer, I can easily spin up stuff that I need, even if it's something permanent, like, for example, Home Assistant, or something temporary if I just need to spin up a few test VMs to network them and try something out. I don't really have very sophisticated things running on Proxmox, so it's not really a at the level of, say, a professional hosting operation as we are running at our business. I only am running a single Proxmox server too, so I haven't got around to setting up a Proxmox cluster yet. But from my practical experience, it's definitely great, and it definitely is a good alternative to VMware, and so I'd definitely give that a try. Resop Mirepus says, I've never thought about the floaters on the dark background, but I see myself something have shadows of the text I read if the background is completely black. Yeah, that's another thing one needs to consider. That's why many people recommend not using dark themes, because the contrast is simply not that great. Black on white is much better in terms of a background than the other way around. And if you have other visual issues, so I'm also short-sighted and now getting far-sighted as well because of age, and I also have a little bit of an astigmatism, and so that is something where, especially I think astigmatism is something where dark themes aren't as great, so yeah, I'll have to find a balance. And with many websites, they simply look better when you use their original bright color scheme instead of using something like Dark Reader to turn it into a dark theme. And yes, of course, I realize that it's a reversed name, so welcome Superimposer, welcome to Monospace Mentor. Yeah, to come back to the question, Proxmox is definitely worth a try, and with the clustering based on Ceph as the distributed storage infrastructure, it definitely can manage professional workloads as well. Here's another question, and keep them coming. Post them to qa.monospacementor.com. Hello there, I've dove into the Linux by trying to host my web apps on a VPS instead of Azure. What is a good way to store secrets like API keys and connection strings on my own VPS in a safe way? I've used Azure Key Vault before for my Azure hosted applications. Security is always a great consideration, and so I definitely like this question. I don't think you have to worry though, because in the end, your secrets have to be on the machine that you are using. And so storing things like API keys and passwords and things like that on your machine is perfectly valid from a security standpoint. If, of course, you adhere to common security considerations, if you make sure that your machine is secure, starting with regular software updates, and I mean, then you can go into all kinds of things to improve your security situation. But in the end, Linux is supposed to store these things, and your Azure VMs will do the same. The question is only how do you get your secrets in a secure way onto these machines, be it virtual compute instances on a cloud provider or a VPS at a data center. The key management systems provided by cloud infrastructure providers are such a way to deploy secrets in a safe way to a compute instance. So you don't have to include them, for example, in your code repository, which would be pretty bad. So where on cloud infrastructure you use a vault software or a simple secrets store, for example on Heroku or on CI systems like GitHub or GitLab, you simply enter your secrets into a list of values that then are made available as environment variables on your CI node or on your server. You need to find a way to deploy your secrets to your VPS in a safe way, and a simple but safe way to do so is simply to use SSH to log into your VPS and edit the particular files that need to be edited. If you then make sure that the permissions of these files are as limited as possible, so nobody else can actually access them, then you're good. Don't worry too much, because in the end, your application that runs needs to have direct access to the plain text secrets, otherwise it can't work. And so the only concern should be, how do I get the secrets where they are supposed to be in a safe way? And if you're talking about a VPS where you're running your web app, and by the way, kudos to you, that's such a great way to get experience in system administration, in running internet-connected services like a web server, for example. So please keep doing that. Keep exploring what else you can do. Maybe adding a database to the mix or something like that. That's a great way to get some system administration practice under your belt. So yeah, if that's what you do, you should be perfectly fine. Don't worry about saving secrets on your VPS. Just make sure that you are doing it in a safe way. If you have any other questions regarding that, please feel free to post a follow-up question. And that's a duplicate of the previous question. So we are already at an empty list again. If you have any questions, post them to qa.monospacementor.com. Here's another question in chat. Did the XZ backdoor make you freak out? Not freak out, but concerned. I'll be honest, this was pretty concerning, and I'm very happy how the whole open source software community handled the whole issue, starting with detecting it in the first place, and then also mitigating it, doing reviews, and looking deeper into how was this able to happen in the first place. How can we as a community guard ourselves against attacks like these? So the event itself was still pretty concerning, of course. We weren't too far away from compromised SSH demons across the whole world. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But I think we came out of it stronger. And yeah, it's not a reason to freak out. It's just a reason to be concerned. And as I said, as I answered to the previous question, we really need to make sure that we are practicing what's generally called SecOps, which is security operations. We need to know how to operate our stuff in a safe way. And the backdoor definitely added a few insights to that. I'm just sitting here chilling, waiting for questions to come in. Welcome, Exile Dragon. Happy to have you at Monospace Mentor. You'd always have a safe space here. Who exiles a dragon? I mean, seriously, people. You should be happy to have one. Thank you for that. Thank you. That made my day. I spent a lot of time developing that because I'm such a bad JavaScript developer. I never got much into front-end development, let alone into professional JavaScript development, so building that alert took quite a few hours and a few drops of sweat. But I'm very happy how it turned out. Thank you for the kind words. I think you deserve a Unix system.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
As the ticker down below says, post your questions to qa.monospacementor.com. Balthazar is joining us and says, one day we should do a deep dive into that window manager. Yeah, we should actually. That's 4DWM, and it's the window manager of IRIX, the Unix system that ran, unfortunately, past tense, on Silicon Graphics machines, which I always had a deep love for. Strowman says, as you're waiting for questions, I'll just do some shameless self-promotion. You mentioned Obsidian. I did write some Obsidian plugins, for example, published to Dev that I live streamed the development of. Amazing! So you're running your own stream here on Twitch? Let me give you a shout out. If I can type. Bethesda says, or file browsers. Yeah, the 3D file browser was also impressive, but not as useful as the window manager. I mean, it's nice that you can actually fly around your files and actually open files and do stuff like that in 3D, but it loses its appeal quite quickly. Exile Dragon says, oh, you're gonna kill me, but I never saw Jurassic Park. Well, neither has my 11-year-old son, because we haven't been able to get the movie file yet. I looked at iTunes, but I'm not going to buy an age-old SD film for €9, so I'll have to find a different way to get Jurassic Park on our screen. I will second Balthazar in saying thanks for your contributions to the Obsidian community. Yes, you're a long user of Obsidian, love it. I do too. Obsidian is at the basis of everything I do because my memory is leaky as a sieve, and Obsidian is where I store everything that I need to remember. And if you look at wiki.monospacementor.com, that is where I publish my IT notes. So not only I can benefit from them, but you as well. And that's simply generated by Obsidian Publish. Here's another question on the board. What's your favorite web server / reverse proxy or whatever? Nginx, Traffic, Apache, yeah, old school, Caddy. Favorite, definitely Nginx. Nginx is great, especially as a reverse proxy. I am old school in the sense that, for example, the actual PHP application servers we're running on our managed hosting platform use Apache. So basically we just made or simply made the step from mod PHP to PHP FPM, but never left that stage. However, in front of this of these application servers that are simply running the PHP applications of our customers, we also have Varnish as a caching as a caching reverse proxy. So as a caching proxy, Varnish is definitely my favorite and has a good chance of staying that way for a long time. Nginx is mostly used in our infrastructure for routing traffic. So if you send requests to our hosting platform in general, they will first talk to an Nginx machine, which does the SSL termination and things like that. So it's a mix. It's not a single one, but if we're talking about all-purpose reverse proxy, I'll pick Nginx. If it's about running PHP, I'll still pick Apache simply because that's what I'm familiar with. Have been doing that for, I guess, 20 years or more. And Varnish if it comes to caching HTTP traffic. However, if I have a single application that I simply need to proxy, increasingly I'm picking Caddy because with its integration with Let's Encrypt, it makes things so much easier. Setting up Caddy doesn't take even 5 minutes, I think, including downloading it or installing the package. Then you make a slight alteration to the configuration file, tell it where to proxy to, give it a domain name, and it'll go and fetch the SSL certificate and you're up and running. I don't think, in terms of quick setup, anything can beat Caddy. What I haven't had experience yet with is traffic. I hear good things, for example, from Balthazar. And once I get more into Docker-based deployments in production at scale, I'm pretty sure that traffic will make an appearance. It still hasn't yet, though. Praxeus is joining us as well. Hey Prax, how you doing? Happy Friday. Superimposer says, tell me about it. I have ADHD and I'm almost 50-year-old. Since I found Obsidian, I feel like I found a more reliable memory for myself. Isn't that the case? I can so relate. And actually, the only thing I'm unhappy about with Obsidian is that I've discovered it so late in my life. Had I started note-taking in college, for example, I don't know how much better my career would have been. Not that I had a bad career, but it could have been so much better by helping me keep track of stuff that I once learned and without Obsidian might already have forgotten by this time. Stormy says, the next plugin I have is actually something to help me keep track of my ADHD medicine, sleep, how it correlates, etc. That's amazing. I mean, there's already the tracker plugin and related plugins that do help with these things, but there's always a need for more sophisticated and more specialized plugins. And so I'm very much looking forward to what you're coming up with. Diagnosed at age 49. That is amazing. I'm really happy for you. Sometimes I wonder if I have slight ADHD myself, but probably not. It's probably just an excuse, in my case, for not properly keeping track of things. Oh, your plugin is more about helping enter these things, so you can easily enter that you took medicine and things like that. Yeah, that is also a hassle. Oftentimes, it takes so much longer to entering these things than actually doing the stuff. So making that easier is definitely something that we can use. Exile Dragon says, I'm saving this. My company is asking us to start checking some Go, and this is pure gold. Thank you. And actually, I'm probably going to get into Go soonish. If I don't start using Crystal, Go will be the language that I'll pick for building more sophisticated command line applications. Go is so much entrenched in the cloud native space that it's definitely worth getting into, and I'm very interested in it. And at the moment, watching Tech World with Nana's Go course video bit by bit, a few minutes every day, and yeah, I'm really looking forward. to learning a bit of Go. However, the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about personally is how different it is from Ruby in terms of software design, since the Go designers intentionally left out specific ways to do object-oriented programming. In that area, Go is very much different from what I've been used to for more than 10 years now, and that is what is skewing me towards Crystal a little bit. But yeah, Go will be in my future. I'm pretty sure about that. Praxis says, I'd be happy to chat on the forum or Discord, which is a good keyword. If you want to join our Discord, you can do so. It's free, and you'll join a friendly bunch with whom you can chat and ask questions and share your own experience. And then, of course, there's the community that I'm building. It's a membership community called the Server Room, and not only do you get access to a safe and inclusive forum for your membership fee, you also get to participate in regular events, like, for example, our monthly hangout, which is going to happen next Tuesday at 7 p.m. UTC, where we simply get on a Zoom call and chat about all kinds of stuff for a few hours. Oops, there wasn't any alert on screen. Stream Element seems to have shit the bed there, but thanks for the follow, Strayman. Bethesda says, oh dang, it looks like MAME can emulate SGI machines, including the venerable Indy 2 and the Indigo. Yep, it can. MAME is one of these projects that is simply amazing in what it can emulate. You think it just emulates old arcade machines? Nope. It can emulate so much more. It's a little bit the same as SimH, which is more used as a simulator for historical machines. For example, that thing behind me here. Mirrored image is always a challenge. That's a replica of a PDP-11, and it does run SimH, and via SimH it runs Research Unix, so the Unix version from 1974. Paxais asked, did the element with my comment override it? I don't think so. It should have somehow overlapped, I guess. But hey, nobody's perfect, not even Stream Elements. And folks, again, if you want to ask a question, you still have 10 minutes. Post them to qa.monospacementor.com. It'll simply make it easier for me to get the question on screen and answer it, but you can also ask in chat. Superimposer says, now a serious question. As you can imagine, I came from old school C++. Is the way to go? Then I found out Rust, and I started to see what was the hype about it being more secure, and now I saw a video from low-level learning about Rust being not that secure. What are your thoughts about it? Actually, I don't know. I haven't read about criticisms of Rust. As I hinted at, I don't have any practical experience yet with the more recent and more cloud-native languages, such as Go and Rust. But I'm reading a lot about software engineering, and so these come up every so often. I can't remember if I ever saw criticisms about Rust not being that secure. I wonder if that's more of a general thing that there is simply no panacea when it comes to security and things like that. Not even the much hyped Rust. I'm pretty sure it's easy to do things in Rust that are not secure. You just need to be willing to ignore everything that Rust is offering in terms of security. With things like, for example, circumventing the borrow checker and things like that. So you definitely, I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised if you can do unsafe stuff in Rust, but I don't think I've seen anything that would say that Rust isn't secure in general. I'll have to check that video out. You say it's from low-level learning. Yeah, I'll have a look, and I'd be interested in what their argument actually is. I mean, we can't discount the fact that controversial videos and posts like this one are an easy way to get on Hacker News too, so there might be an ulterior motive as well. Stormer says, Rust is if you need completely predictable memory management and the best possible performance. Yeah, that's definitely the case. These are definitely advantages of using Rust. Oh, thanks for posting the video. I'll try and save that for later. Let me see, copy link address. Let's put that on my distraction browser. Oh, yes. I'll have a look at that later. Thank you. All right, folks. The hour is almost over, so final round of questions. qa.monospacementor.com. There's still some coffee left. Yeah, I noticed that it starts in the middle of the video. No worries. Exile Dragon, you think that's a pretty big coffee? Well, I need to keep 100 kilos of human material awake, so yeah, that requires big cups.
It's a Unix system. I know this.
Welcome to the channel, S6aid. Is that how you pronounce your name? I can't tell you how relaxing it is not having pressure to perform. On the other hand, we could use that time. If you have one more question, that's what we still have time for. Oh, Struyman, pulling out the big guns. Vim or NeoVim? I have switched to NeoVim a few years ago, after it got more and more popular. Very happy with the change. Having Lua-based configuration is definitely an improvement over Vim script, and having lots more choice in plugins as well. That being said, I'm a little bit tired of always having to update plugins and seeing my editor break because someone didn't keep up with change and things like that. It's basically the same what got me from dropping Linux as my desktop system 20 years ago. I was really willing to use Linux on my workstation just as on my servers, but running it or maintaining it on a daily basis was just such a hassle that I switched to Mac back in the day, and then eventually Mac OS got so annoying that it made me switch to Windows, which only stayed for a short time when I realized that I can easily run Linux on my desktop and even game on it. And so now it's Linux all the way. I'm at a point where I'm a little bit fed up with Vim in general because of the plugin stuff. And so I'm actually actively exploring the whole JetBrains IDE range. For my Ruby projects, I've been using RubyMine for a few weeks now, and when it comes to maintaining my website, which runs on WordPress, I'm using PHP Storm. And I have to say, it's nice to have an integrated IDE whose plugins simply work, and which simply builds a consistent whole. And so yeah, I'm not ditching Vim forever or completely, but at the moment I'm just experimenting and trying to see how it feels using a professional, if commercial, IDE for my daily stuff. And yes, Struyman, Windows, because it was during the high COVID time where I thought I could be playing a lot more games if I simply had a machine that was more gaming oriented than the iMac that I had back then. And you couldn't get an iMac with a high-powered GPU, even if you were willing to pay for it. Back then I got a fully spec'd out i9-based iMac simply to have enough performance to do streaming. But the GPU still wasn't really impressive. So I thought, okay, let's get hardware with an NVIDIA card and an operating system that makes use of it, which of course brings you to Windows. And so I thought, yeah, Windows has the WSL, the Windows subsystem for Linux, and so maybe it's best of both worlds in terms of hardware support on one side and Linux support on the other. And yeah, it was a bit of a mixed thing, not great in either of these things. And then I started, then I installed Pop! OS simply on the second half of the hard disk or of the SSD, and started dual booting. And then I realized I'm not booting much back into Windows because I can do almost everything on Linux. And in the end, I ended up nuking and paving the whole machine with a full Linux installation, and all that's left in terms of Windows is a small little VM that I use to run the Affinity suite, and that's it. So that's how Linux became, that's how 2022 or 23, around that time, became the year of Linux on the desktop for me. LNG Grinds, welcome to the channel. I have been using JetBrains for many years. Annoying part is they change the UI too often. Okay, I haven't been using it for long enough to being able to notice that. We'll see about that. Yeah, that's annoying. If they break your workflows and muscle memory, that's never a good thing. But that's exactly what got me exploring them in the first place, because doing a plugin update in NeoVim and seeing that now half of your plugins are broken or specific workflows don't work anymore, like for example the language server integration or something like that. That's exactly what I'm trying to get rid of by actually trying out JetBrains. Alright, my DevOps friends, it's 3 o'clock here in Ireland, which means my office hour is coming to an end. This has been fun. I'm going to get to work for a short final burst of the week now, and then I'll be outside and running my 5K of the day, and then it's going to be the weekend. Let me see if there is someone around who we can raid, who we want to raid. Oh, look at that. There's TBD Gamer. Yeah, we are going to raid them. So yeah, this has been the Monospace Mentor Office Hour. I'll be back next week with more co-working streams, and you can follow me on floss.social at Monospace. And of course, you can also join our Discord to get notifications when I go online. Thanks for asking questions. Thanks for chatting. This has been fun. I hope you're having a great Friday and then an awesome weekend. Thanks for everyone who followed during this stream, who joined in, Storyman and others, Superimposer. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. And until next time, take care.